Four important positions in your FPL team, but who's the best value? Let's rank them and get into it. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and you're enjoying pre-season. In my draft, and no doubt in yours, I'm a little bit torn on a few key positions, but who's the best value in these positions at low price points? Today we're going to look at 4.5 million defenders. We're going to look at the best 5.5 million mids, the best 6.5 million mids, and the best 6.5 million forwards. I've got no doubt everyone watching this has at least 3 of those 4 positions in their team, and many of you will be on the fence on a couple. So we're going to show 4 for each and rank them, but also go through really my priority when looking at them. So we're going to start at the back with defenders. Who are the best 4.5 million defenders this year? And boy, are there loads. I'm going to bring up 4. These are 4 that I think offer a lot of different things, right? From defend con beasts to attacking returns to 90-minute men, right? Now, there are lots out there I like that aren't featured. So just to give a shout out to a few, I only wanted to put 4 on the graphic. I like Agbadu of Wolves. I like Senesi of Bournemouth. But these are 4 that I'm looking at, I guess, for my team, certainly 2 of them. So as we start off, I just want to show you the defending data from last season. When we look at the top 10, only Crystal Palace here feature with a 4.5 million defender that's of interest, and Bournemouth, right? So when we look at Senesi and when we look at Mark Gahey, they feature on this list. But when you look at all the other teams, Forest and Chelsea and Everton and Newcastle, there's no 4.5 million defender that's starting for them. Konza for Villa also starting there. So you can look at like 8th, 9th, 10th, best case scenario. You're not getting defenders from elite defences when you look at 4.5 million defenders. But what you can get with someone like Max de Kuiper, let's have a look at him, is upside. Now, this is a guy that bases his game on Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? Loads of attacking returns. He averages like 1 in 3. He's going to bomb forward at times as a wing back, at times as a full back. The problem here is we've not seen him in a Brighton shirt. Does he take a while to integrate into the team? Yes, Estupiñán's gone, but he can play Kadioglu left back. He can play Lamptey left back. He's not a nailed 90-minute man yet. I'm sure he will be, but there's slight risk attached to De Kuiper. Okay. Mark Gahey, another one, like probably leaving Palace. If he doesn't leave, he's great. If he does leave and goes to a Liverpool, he's even better, right? Whoever signs Mark Gahey is going to be in their 11. We could get a 4.5 million defender here for a better team than Crystal Palace. Watch this space. Wan-Bissaka is the highest owned out of all of them. 32% ownership, and this blows my mind. I don't like the Wan-Bissaka pick much, right? I think he's fine. The fixtures are fine. The opening day is great, and that's why he's getting a lot of love, no doubt. And the attacking returns under Potter at the end of last season were brilliant. This is a guy that I've never thought looks comfortable on the ball, but he's a former winger. And he did show last year for Potter playing as a wing back. Potter, the pre-season so far, has played a back 3 with Wan-Bissaka right wing back. Effectively, at times, he looks like a wide forward. He's going to get attacking returns, but how many clean sheets will he keep? I think West Ham are in a bit of bother. I think they're in a bit of bother. And then this is the guy that's currently in my team, and that's Van der Ven. From all the 4.5s, I love the Kuiper for upside, but for reliability, Van der Ven is going to get points, right? We know that. We just know he's going to get lots of points. He's going to get some clean sheets. We know he's going to do well in DEFCON. Defensive actions. Thomas Frank's Spurs we haven't seen yet. But for Brentford, we know Brentford centre-backs, players like Collins, did very well for DEFCON. That could be Van der Ven, right? It could be Van der Ven. That's because Brentford didn't have the ball a huge amount. They sat quite deep at times. If Spurs are going to do the same, Van der Ven could be brilliant. Plus, opening day fixture against Burnley. That's why, again, same with Wan-Bissaka, we see the opening day fixture. Just remember, guys, game week 2, 3, 4 and 5 fixtures are equally as important as game week 1. So bear that in mind, obviously, when you're making your pick. So look, that's the 4.5 million defenders. I like, I must admit, I struggle, but at the moment, if I'm ranking them, it's Van der Ven 1. Probably De Kuiper 2, and the others, mixed bag. Like I really like Agbadu and Senesi, as I mentioned earlier as well. Drop comments with other 4.5 million defenders below, will you guys? And do please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you're new around here, I've got so much pre-season content planned, and I'm really appreciating you guys hitting those buttons nice and early as well. So look, let's move on to midfielders, and then we'll get to forwards. Now, midfielders, we're going to do 2 different price points. We're going to do 5.5 mids, because there's a lot looking at 5.5 mids, but there's also a lot looking at 6.5 mids, and perhaps in your drafts you'll have one of each. As things stand, I'm interested in both these positions, right? 5.5 midfielders, I think there's been one clear standout in terms of content creators, and that is Elliot Anderson. And I'll tell you why straight away. Let me show you a chart from the Scout members area. They have gone back from last season and reclassified all the defensive contribution points. So we know what someone like Elliot Anderson and how he performs. And this is filtered by all midfielders last year. Christie top, Lamina second, but Elliot Anderson, who will take some set pieces at Forest, is third. He averages 13.39 defensive actions. He only has to hit 12 to get an extra 2 points. More often than not, he's going to get defensive action points. And he's going to take some set pieces. And he's got a little bit of goal threat. Yeah, there's a lot to like about Elliot Anderson. And that is certainly the highest floor of all the 5.5 million defenders. And guys, do check Scout out, by the way. 47% off members only area if you want to check it out. There's a link on description or on screen. But he doesn't offer huge upside. Like Elliot Anderson might be a floor of 4 points every week and a ceiling of 6, 7, whatever. But he doesn't have like brace potential, for example. There are a couple of players on this list that do. Now, Adingra scored for Sunderland pre-season the other night. Like, he's going to be Sunderland's, I think, most dangerous attacker. Adingra's got pedigree from Brighton. The opening fixtures for Sunderland are brilliant. They're right at the top of the ticker, Sunderland. Now, of course, we don't expect them to score many, but Adingra's got some pedigree. Adingra at Brighton wanted to be first choice and he wasn't. He's got a bit of a point to prove, and I like that. Every time he played for Brighton, or at least started, he offered huge threat. I remember seeing him in, was it the EFL Cup final, EFL Cup game last season? I think he's got either a brace or a hat-trick against good opposition. Like, he will take his chance, I think, in the Premier League now at Sunderland. And again, if pre-season's anything to go by, he looks pretty sharp. 3% owned. All of these are proper differentials, by the way. Rangers at 5% owned. We just need to know if he's nailed. A bit like De Kuiper, should be first choice, but is a slight risk. If he is, he's got goals to his game. Last season, he got double digits for AC Milan. This is a proper box-to-box midfielder that I think will partner Rodri so well. I'm genuinely interested in Rangers. The problem with Man City is we don't have any pre-season games to go off. They've got one pre-season game. Like, how much is that going to tell us? And then John Arias of Wolves. This is a guy that had a brilliant Club World Cup. We don't know much about him because we don't know much about those that come from South America. New to the league, new to European football. There might be a little bit of integration time. Again, this is a high-risk pick, but probably this guy could come with the biggest upside of all 5.5 mids. If you want to take a punt, he could be on penalties. He could be on free kicks. We saw him score a cracking direct free kick in the Club World Cup. Arias is like a proper attacker, listed as a midfielder. Like he's going to play in like a front three. He could be really dangerous, and I think Wolves are pretty useful. I think Wolves last season had a terrible start, and Gary O'Neill wasn't right for them. As soon as the new manager came in, they actually looked quite good. Arias could be the new Cunha. Like, that's proper punty thing to say, but he just could be. If you want to go really punty, I like Arias. But still, if I'm playing with my sensible hat on and I'm ranking these guys, it's between Anderson and Adingra, because at least we know they're both starters. And Anderson comes with the consistency and Adingra comes with the upside. I don't quite know where I'm at between these two in terms of ranking. Probably Anderson is the smart pick. Adingra could be a load of fun, though. They're my 1 and 2 in whatever order. Let me know again your comments below. Should we do 6.5 million mids? Because I know loads of you have got 6.5 million mids, and then we're going to do 6.5 million forwards, right? So the 6.5 million mids, again, there's lots. These are the 4 that jump out to me. Like, in my team, these are the 4 I'm really interested in. Straight away and die, I think, is probably the standout. Everton's best player, penalty appeal, mostly 90 minutes. I like the narrative with Everton under Moyes and the new stadium as well. Like, a good end to the season, new stadium, new start, a new attacker for him to feed off in Tino Barry. We don't know if he'll go straight in, but Tino Barry looks like he'll be an upgrade on a Beto. And Ndai could be fun. Ndai could be really fun. He has looked good pre-season as well. They're out in the US. They lost to Bournemouth the other day, 3-0 in a pre-season friendly, but Ndai looked really good. Declan Rice, direct free kicks. Like, again, we didn't really know that. Corners, free kicks, box to box. This isn't a number 4, number 6 now. This is a number 8 box to box, especially with the signing of Zubimendi. Declan Rice is going to score goals. He's not going to go and get double digits, I don't think, but he's got goals to his game, and we'll see that more now as Zubimendi's in. Arteta doesn't want him to be the sitter. He wants him to be box to box. He wants him to be dynamic. And the set piece threat alone, because Arsenal was so good from corners, Declan Rice will take them at least from one side. Saka maybe the other, but Gabriel, Saliba, the threats in the air. And then obviously direct free kicks. We saw it, didn't we, in the Champions League against Real Madrid. 2 of the best free kicks you've ever seen in one game from Declan Rice. I think he's being slept on a little bit. I'm surprised he's only 8%. I think that's a brilliant route to the Arsenal attack as well for those that don't have an Arsenal attacker. Obviously, start the season is tough. Man United, Leeds, Liverpool. It's not the best start, but Rice will get a lot of love at times throughout the year. Enzo Fernandez. I love Enzo, and if you're not going Cole Palmer, I think he's the next best thing. You cover Chelsea attack, and you either go João Pedro, Pedro Neto, or this guy. And I think this guy, because he gets 90 minutes, because again, he takes up good positions, often in the number 10. Enzo Fernandez was brought to play alongside Caicedo straight away. But now we're seeing Reece James play alongside Caicedo, or we're seeing Lavia play alongside Caicedo. That allows Enzo, who is one of the first names on the team sheet, often the captain, to play like a dual 10 with Palmer, or Palmer plays on the right and Enzo the 10. You get great positioning from Enzo Fernandez. Don't see him as like a sitter anymore. Absolutely not. He's an 8-10 hybrid under Maresca at the second half of last season and at the Club World Cup, and that was really interesting. We only get a short pre-season to judge Man City and Chelsea players, but the Club World Cup shows us a little bit. And it showed us again Enzo getting into dangerous attacking positions. I think he's an underrated pick again. And then Sarr, because of what we know he can do in front of goal, and that front three with Eze, Sarr, Mateta. If Eze stays, Sarr's a great pick because it just adds goals to that Crystal Palace team and creativity to the Crystal Palace team. If Eze goes, I question the attack a little bit, and therefore Sarr's not as attractive. But only 2% owned, a proper differential. The only reason he's 2% owned, the fixtures aren't pretty for Palace, but maybe they don't have to be. They will cause any team problems. And I honestly, that Chelsea game, it's no gimme for Chelsea. Palace could start fast. Forest in game week 2, I think they win. And then Villa in game week 3, it's a coin toss. Like, Palace are a proper good outfit. Again, we will see them in the Community Shield. So we get a little look at Crystal Palace, which I like. Guys, thank you all for hitting the buttons. I'd love this video to get 500 plus likes. And I would love you to subscribe because I've got some awesome content coming in the next fortnight. Stay tuned for that. 6.5 million forwards. I feel like many of us need one, because we've all got a midfield that's stacked and we need some cheap forwards that play. Now, when you go to 6 and 5.5, that's slim pickings. At 6.5, you've got a few more options. Now, straight away, let me address the elephant in the room, and that is Nicholas Jackson. Everyone's going, why would you put him in here? Guys, yes, he's suspended game week 1. There is a very good chance Nicholas Jackson doesn't end up at Chelsea by game week 2. If he is at Aston Villa game week 2, or Newcastle, or Man United, they're the clubs he's been linked with, and I see him going to Villa. Emery used to manage him at Villarreal. Watkins heavily linked with a move away. If you're getting the starting number 9 for any of those clubs I've just mentioned for 6.5 million, with the XG and the chances Nicholas Jackson gets, boy, could that be fun. Just know that he could move, and he could move after game week 1. This could be a late transfer move. Game week 2, game week 3. The window shuts at the end of August, remember? Just know, if you've got 6.5 million forward in your squad, you can use a transfer and get to Jackson very easily. That's why this is an important price point to cover, because 6.5 million Jackson starting for Aston Villa would be loads of fun. And I know he's wasteful in front of goal, but trust me, this is a good pick in the right team. Now, he's not going to be starting games for Chelsea with João Pedro and Liam Delap signing, and he'll probably be sold. He could just rot on the bench, who knows? But just keep your eye on Jackson, and I think cover the price point. That's the important bit. Jimenez, for me, like, you've got to probably swerve because he's not a 90-minute man. But again, I feel like Fulham are always a team we sleep on a little bit. Anthony Robinson last year, no one had him, and he was like the best performing defender early on. At times, Iwobi was pulling up trees. No one had him. We don't see Fulham picks as sexy FPL picks, but they're genuinely good. Jimenez will take penalties. Yes, he won't get 90, but he always seems to score goals. Like, he's just a goal scorer. But these are my first 2 picks on the top row, and that is Welbeck and Strand Larsen, and I'm 50-50 on them. I think I'm gonna go 51-49, and I'll tell you my answer in a second, which one I prefer and which one's currently in my draft. Because again, I feel like this is a needed price point. Welbeck won't always get 90, and he does have fitness issues. But when he's fit, Brighton are an attacking team that will score goals. Let me show you some attacking data. The goal threat from last year, if we're ranking the top 10 based on goals, XG and big chances, Brighton were 5th for goals, 10th for XG, 5th for big chances. Brighton are one of the most attacking teams in the league. They, on this metric, rank higher than Villa, higher than Bournemouth, higher than Tottenham. Having the Brighton number 9 that probably takes penalties in João Pedro's absence for 6.5 million, very, very smart pick, I think. Danny Welbeck. Fulham, Everton, Man City is nice. But perhaps the best pick of all is Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen's a very good finisher. He should take penalties in Cunha's absence. Again, we're looking at probably 2 penalty takers here. He ended the season really well. And again, very few are picking him at 6% owned. Now, again, most aren't picking him because they go game week 1 fixture. Oh, he's got Man City. Welbeck's got Fulham. Forget game week 1. It's not just about game week 1. Game week 2, 3, 4 and 5 are equally as important. And Strand Larsen's fixtures, they're not too shabby. I don't mind Strand Larsen fixtures moving forward. In fact, when we look at them over a longer period, let me read them out. They go Man City, Bournemouth, away. Everton at home is nice, right? Newcastle, Leeds, Tottenham, Brighton, Sunderland, Burnley, Fulham is the first 10. Certainly from game week 5 to 10, it's a good run. Strand Larsen could be the best 6.5 million pick in the game. An elite finisher, actually. Elite might be strong. A very good finisher. He's got potential to be an elite finisher. Big reputation in Norway. That's probably my number 1 pick. Larsen 1, Welbeck 2. But Jackson, if he gets a move, he'll blow the others out of the water. I've got no doubt about that. Guys, thank you for watching. Hit those buttons on the way out. I'll see you in 24 hours for another vid.